everyone. This is Kathy at Cool Choices. Thanks for joining me for this overview of our game-based platform. For those of you who aren't familiar with us, Cool Choices is a nonprofit, and for about 9 years now, we've been implementing engagement programs evolving this platform. We've worked with industry leaders, community groups, schools, faith-based communities, and in all cases, we're really helping them facilitate culture change. Our typical client has been a company or community that has aggressive sustainability goals and has accomplished a good deal on those goals. Very typically, our client might have a green team so for example, if they've got a zero landfill goal, they might well have made a lot of progress toward that goal. They come to a challenge, though, where to reach zero landfill, it's not just about an amazing green team. It's about everyone in an organization doing their part to ensure that zero landfill happens. And that's that culture change quest. Okay, they're looking for an opportunity to make everyone part of the solution, to make sustainable practices the new normal in the organization. And that's where our platform becomes really handy. When we think about why we do what we do, one of the things we talk about a lot is that if you want to facilitate change, it helps very much if you make that change fun, social, and easy. By fun, I mean pleasant. That can mean people are proud of what they're doing. It can literally mean it's fun and they're laughing about things, but in some way it's pleasant. Social. Human beings are social creatures, and we take a lot of cues from the folks around us. So if I want you to do something different, it behooves me to show you that the people you respect, your peers, are also doing something different, that they value this different way of doing things that we want you to adopt. And then finally, easy, which of course for folks who've been involved in sustainability, you know that if there are barriers to doing the sustainable thing, it won't happen. Recycling bins need to be next to trash bins, that kind of logic. So fun, social, and easy is a framework that can apply really in a variety of settings. You could use fun, social, and easy to get your child to do their homework. When it comes to sustainability, though, we really end up with some additional challenges that have to be addressed. And the first of those is about time frame. So very often when we're talking about sustainability, we're talking about long-term goals. We want to ensure that sea levels don't rise by 2100. We want to reduce our company's total energy usage by 50% by 2050. You know, it's these long-term objectives. And the challenge with that is human beings are not very good at being motivated around the long term, tend to be much more motivated about the here and now, what has to be accomplished right now. So when you're encouraging staff to turn things off because this will help reach the company's 2030 goal, a bunch of them are thinking, I'm not going to be here in 2030. Just think about how do we create an immediacy in this. And for us, the answer to that became a game, a friendly competition. So instead of saying you need to turn that off so we reach our 2050 objectives, we're able to say you need to turn that off so that we can claim points and beat Bill in accounting. It's way more visceral, way more immediate, and it appeals to kind of who we are as humans. So that's the first challenge we have to overcome. The second challenge is that folks are really, as we talk about these kind of broad environmental goals, folks are not convinced that what they do really matters. I'm one person. Does it really make a difference if I recycle this plastic bottle or not? Our response is, of course it does. And our way of demonstrating that is to always talk about results in aggregate. So we don't talk about the dollar value of the water you save by turning off the water when you brush your teeth. We talk about the millions of gallons of water everyone together has saved, because that's way more motivating. The third challenge is complacency. We all tend to think that we're not the problem in this, that other people are wasting way more than we are. And this is well illustrated by a study the Joyce Foundation did a number of years ago, this pie chart here, where they asked people, how does your household energy usage compare to similar homes in your community? And just 9% of us think we're high energy users. Everyone else thinks they're average or below average, which means when a green team sends out messages about, hey, we need everyone to do a better job of recycling, 90% of folks think they're not talking to them. I'm already doing a good job. We need to shake up that complacency. And our way to do that, because we tend to do things in positive and constructive ways, is to share stories and photos of the people around you who are doing an awesome job. And this leverages that social piece by making it more visible that your colleagues are biking or composting or turning off lights. It gives people a nudge to do more. And we often hear from participants who say, I was sure before the game started I was the greenest person here. And then I started to see other people doing things, and I realized I had to step up if I wanted to be the greenest person. That's exactly what we want to have happen. We want people to be a little uncomfortable and have to step into more activity. Fundamentally, what we're doing with this platform is trying to make sustainability cool. We want to be the buzz in the lunchroom. We want to be the thing people are teasing each other about. We want, more than anything, for people to be saying, if you are part of this organization, this community, this group, then this is how you do things. You don't waste energy. You don't waste water. You opt for active transit. And at this point, we've done direct implementations of the program in a variety of settings, from manufacturing to healthcare to law firms, across communities. We're really confident this platform works, and we're really excited to be at this moment where we can make the platform available to more entities and give people the opportunity to take it and customize it and really own it in their own initiatives. With that, let me give you just a little bit of a framework of how this works, and then I will give you a tour. So the way we typically have run programs is there's a 2-week period where things get organized, where people sign up and join teams. And then over the course of 6 weeks, on a daily basis, people claim points for the things they do. Turned off the water when you brushed your teeth this morning, you can claim points for that. You carpooled to a meeting, you can claim points for that. Fundamentally, points are really about bragging rights. There's the infrastructure to offer some random prizes for participation, but fundamentally what's really important to people is who's at the top of the leaderboard. How am I doing compared to my peers? How's my team doing? How's my organization doing in some cases? And, the system is transparent to let people see what other people are doing and to facilitate those conversations and collaboration. With that, let me jump out of there and give you a little bit of a sense of how this works. So this is the main dashboard, and I'm in a demo game here, and so I'm logged in as a player. I happen to be in second place in the demo. That would be because I use the demo more than other folks. And so far, I've completed 3 out of 4 actions for today. It shows me some badges I'm on track to win. It shows me team standings here. My team is in second place. We need 5 more actions to get ahead of the Main Street Greenies. One of the things I can do to get us ahead is I could I could nudge a teammate. I could say, hey, I'm going to remind you to play, and it will say, hey, Claire, you should play today, don't forget. And then down here, I talked a lot about aggregate savings. So down here you see, so there are 30 players in the demo. They've completed 203 actions. And you see we've saved 45,000 gallons of water, that's enough to produce 22 pounds of chocolate. So giving me a context for some of those savings. Typically, when a player comes into our system, they go straight to play now and report their actions. So let me give you a sense of what's here in terms of the actions. So there you see multiple colors. There are different kinds of actions. Red cards are leap cards. These are one-time actions that you can leap ahead, replace a toilet, do an energy audit, kind of big one-time steps. Those compare to blue steps compared to leaps, which are like use public transit today. You could claim points for that day after day. These steps are habitual. Then there are create cards, green cards, that are about suggesting a practice or taking a photo, things that are a little bit more creative. And the focus cards are typically about counting. Count the number of trash bags your house produces in a day, in a week, those sorts of things. Now, the other kind of logistical thing here is there are 4 categories. So there are travel actions, there are energy actions, wellness, which for us includes food, it includes waste, toxins, and water actions. And the thing I would say about all of this is all of that is customizable. You could create a new, in manufacturing, we often have a quality category that they add to their program, or sometimes there's a second kind of community category that like particularly in community scale programs they might add that are about volunteering sorts of things. So to play then, it's really just you pick an action, contact your cable company to upgrade to a more efficient cable box, one of my favorites. On the back, there's some information about this. There are links to more data about like Energy Star cable boxes. You can learn all about this here. What we see is that there's a cohort of players who very much like those links and more data. Most folks, though, are going to go, yep, that's the thing I did. I'm going to say play. And when the first time you take an action, it's going to ask you if you did this before the game started or after, which lets us know whether the new, and in this case, it's going to ask me, I had 2 cable boxes, now a thin client. So it's asking me what did I replace? Oh. Well, I got ahead of my questions there. And then I can play. All of that is customizable. So you can add questions to use public transit. You could ask which transit people used, etc. Lots of customization there. So now it says you did it, come back tomorrow to share more cool choices. When the program starts, people play 1 choice a day, and there are typically about 8 actions. Every day new actions get added. There's a template with all of those actions in it that comes with the licensing package. And again, you can update and customize that in any way you like. So that's the basics of play. Now I'm going to jump from this demo game into a real game to give you just a little bit more background about how some other pieces work. It's more fun to look at these things in a real game with real people than in a demo game. So this is a regional program we did in 2018 in Northeast Wisconsin. So here there were 1,300 players. They reported 77,000 actions that represented $500,000 of savings. And you can see that, their actions were 70,000 gallons of gas. That's enough to fill a vehicle 4,700 times. The giving people some sense of, again, here, how can you think you don't make a difference when you're part of these really big numbers? I want to show you 2 other basic features of the system here. to get your imagination flowing. And the first is standing. So I mentioned we organize people into teams. And in this case, people were in teams of 6. So this was a regional program. We had multiple businesses simultaneously recruiting their staff into the same program. More typically, our programs historically have been inside a single entity, but this was kind of funded in a different way. So here you've got teams, and you can pick a team here, and I can click on it. I can see the individuals on that team. I can pick one of those individuals. I can see the badges that person earned. I can go to gallery and see the photos she updated, action history, the game. I can go back to when the game was active and see what actions she reported on a daily basis. That's that transparency we talked about. And what we see people using that for is in the dynamic of Anne is ahead of me. How did she get ahead of me? I'm going to look at what actions she's claiming. Is she doing something that I could be doing so I could get back ahead of her? So those are the team standings. There's also individual standings, and I want to particularly draw your attention to organization. So in this case, we had multiple organizations. Sometimes these are departmental, so accounting and IT and manufacturing or different buildings in a and this is a per capita standing. So it's how many people were in your cohort and how active were they creates where you are in this standing. So there's sort of different ways for people to prevail in the standings. You can also here, I can pick a company, and then I can see the individual standings just within that organization. So I got first place in my organization, even if I didn't get first place overall, kind of thing. So lots of ability for people to feel good there about where they're at in those standings. The other piece I want to show you is the stream. So embedded here is a mini social media stream where participants can just post photos and share things. Very often at the end of a game, we'll see some of that. But also things happen here automatically. So we saw the count your trash bags card there in the demo. Here, one of the actions toward the end of the game was count the number of meatless meals you've eaten in the last week. And you see that 915 people in the program played that card. And you can see all of their answers here and folks commenting on that, having a discussion about what they're doing there. Similarly, when it's suggest a practice to save fuel, again, you've got all of the ideas people have. And at the end of the game, of course, there's all of this data that's available to the organization, or in this case, the multiple organizations. Each organization here got their own data back to try to get those pieces. And then the other kind of insert here I'll just show you is, so when it's a selfie card, when it's a take a selfie picking up trash, you've got photos then of folks being the change out in the community, doing the various things that they can do out, whether that's picking up trash or there's a selfie with a green feature you appreciate locally, your favorite park, exercising outdoors, a lot of fun kinds of photo opportunities there. And again, all of that data is available as part of the program. Let me just jump back here and close things up with a little bit of conversation about data. So our system is really created to facilitate data collection. So it can accommodate a baseline survey. There is, of course, all of the program data. So every time someone logs an action, you're collecting data on what they're doing and whether they were doing that before. And then there's a accommodation for a post-program survey to assess how things have changed. Give you a little bit of a sense of what, in terms of results, typically when we look across programs, players are reporting about 62 actions in total that represent about $400 in total savings, and a little bit over a quarter of that is new savings. And graphically, the system produces a report where we're able to identify those savings at a core resource level. How much gasoline are people reducing versus how much electricity are they saving? And then the portion of that that's new versus the portion that they're saying that they did previously. Maybe the last point for me to make here is we've also, over the years, done enough third-party research that we know that the participants in our program tend to be eclectic in a lot of ways. So folks who participate in a thing like this are very often the folks who join things, which means they're the people who come to meetings, who vote, who you want to change in a community because they can lead to broader changes. It is not the case that we're just reaching the green folks. Certainly we get a cohort of the green folks, but we also get folks who are just interested in, hey, my friend said I should join their team, or I heard that you could save money doing this, and all of that becomes sort of an impetus too here. So with that, I'm going to close the webinar. Thanks so much for hearing this. I would just note that this is one of two webinars. So this one really talked about the theory and how the system works from a player perspective. There's a second webinar that looks at the system from an administrative perspective and gives you a little bit of a sense of how some of all of that works if you're interested in pursuing licensing. Thanks so much for joining me, and have a great day.